I have a first question that I would like to ask to Anouk and Rianne. You've been training people in the organization, but I was wondering which roles, are there certain roles you focus on, for example, business analysts or project managers, or do you mix the teams in your trainings? And how do you then manage the different responsibilities after the training? Will people's job, will they switch, or how do you make sure that everyone still knows what they should do and what's the responsibility of someone else in a team when their content in their job is changing so much?
Well, first of all, thanks for asking this question. This was actually one of the challenges, and upfront we thought of an approach where we would make different levels of trainings for different kinds of roles within the organization. And then talking with business owners, we switched strategy because they said training is not only about output, it's also about outcome. Like mentioned in the talk just before by Adam and Marcus, both are really important. So that's why we kind of moved to training teams and then facilitating also the discussion within teams. So we started with 4 learning journeys, and that was for kind of service design or design base for increasing innovation impact. And we were talking about a course for leadership, but we didn't come to developing that. Is that a short answer to the question?
Yes, maybe an extra question concerning this topic is, so after people follow a training and coaching sessions, they will have new skills, but how do you make sure that it's clear for whom is going to, for example, take the role as a facilitator, who is going to go out to the users, or is it constantly a total mix of those skills for all the people who were involved in the program?
Well, that depends on the team, actually. And maybe Rianne can tell a bit more about that. But some teams, they are really defined, and there you can share the tasks more fluently. And other teams are kind of in flux. So also the roles are in flux, and it depends on the project. But maybe Rianne, you want to tap into this?
Yeah, it also depends on the maturity of the team and the time the team is working together as a group. And also a big a thing we have within KLM is that a lot of projects we are doing with people working in the live operation day by day. So they're pulled out of their own job and put on a project. And that's a big plus, because then we have the real user insights. On the other hand, it's sometimes quite challenging to get to a certain speed, get to a certain maturity level within doing projects. So yeah, that really, like Anouk said, depends on the team and the circumstances.
All right. I have a question that I also saw in the Q&A posted by somebody in the audience. I think Lisbeth, thank you. It's about a mindset change, and I think in both of your cases, the KLM situation, but also the service design jam situation, you deal with changing mindset. Now, I think we all know that's one of the hardest things to do. I'd like to ask both of you, what are your little tricks or your cheats and hacks for changing a mindset? Maybe we'll start with you, Adam.
My background is psychology, and if you ask a psychologist what a mindset is, they will say it's a set of behaviors that come from a set of stimuluses or stimuli. And if you want to change people's mindsets, to change those reactions, yeah, one of the things that you can do is you can change their physical context. So in the jam, that's very, very clear. Yeah, we take people maybe to a special space, or we decorate the room differently. We have things like rubber chickens flying around. Yeah, and that helps people, gives them permission to try something different. They also know that it's a very restricted space. It's just 48 hours. It's just this project. It's just this room. And that can be important as well, though it has its drawbacks when you want to transfer that thinking, of course, to normality afterwards. This kind of working has to work on every desk. But I think it's really interesting to start mixing these things. So what happens? I wear a suit at work every day, but I have a rubber chicken in my pocket. Yeah, and this is an interesting way to think about this. What happens to someone's mindsets when they're in a boardroom, but it's decorated differently, but there's music going, but there is a rubber chicken on the table, literally. Yeah. So how can that help people? So I think, I come from theatre as well, lots of knowledge here about safe spaces and what they mean. Setting up a safe space is enormously important. And I think it's very, very important that when people are trying this stuff for the first time, if possible, the doors are closed, figuratively and literally. Yeah. So you don't do these unusual ways of working for the first time under heavy scrutiny, but some kind of space is set up by taking a very minor project. For example, Mark Stickton always recommends starting with employee experience because there's not so much attention on that. Yeah. Call it something boring like so-and-so optimization program. So people say that's important that somebody does that, but keep the limelight away from you until you're ready and proud to take it out. Jams can be one way to do that because you sort of shut the door and you shut people out and the right people turn up. But there are many other ways too.
Excellent, thanks. Anouk, Rianne, maybe what are your thoughts on this? How would you go about making mindset change
What
possible?
To add to this great story? Thanks for setting the base. Yeah, well, actually, what also helped us in the training is to create this safe space, indeed, having closed doors, and then practicing, but immediately starting to translate this practice to, hey, how would you kind of go on with this in your business as usual? So really have people speak about how they could adopt all the skills and the tools and the things that we were discussing. How would they use it in real time? And actually we worked on real cases. So we did not only create a safe space, which we just sent them out to talk to passengers and to colleagues. And in that way, they experienced that they could already make a difference within 1 or 2 hours and, I don't know, 6 interviews. So experiencing to be able to make a difference, that also adds up to the step for another behavior, I would say. So I don't know if you agree about that, but.
I think that shock treatment can work well as well. We have one project where on the first day of the training courses, we send people to customers' homes. Yeah. Right away. On the first day, half an hour after they start, they're on a bus going to customers' homes. Did a thing with 100, top 100 of a large multinational, and they got a 15-minute presentation on design thinking. The doors opened up and 40 real customers walked in. Yeah. And people got very, very big eyes. Yeah. But they paid attention and they found, hey, this is not so difficult. I can do this. I just need to be my human self.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the same thing.
Oh, sorry, Rianne?
Yeah, we have the same thing, right? In the basics training we're giving right now, we let people walk to real customers, like real passengers, because we're at Schiphol. So we send them out and go ask a passenger. And then there's like, oh, they're all freezing and turning red and, oh my God, I don't want to. And then, well, and if they did it, and then it's exactly what Adam says, they all feel free and think, oh, well, I can do this. And it isn't so hard. And okay, well, yeah, that's nice. I can do this again. But the coaching on the job really is a necessary part as well, because we do train them on their own project, which they are running right now. But if you stop at a training or stop at a jam, I think people just think, oh, well, it was really great and I really liked it and enjoyed it. But then they go back to normal. So it's really, we really try to make several meetings with them, have a chit chat, just ask them, how are they doing? What do they feel? Really make them comfortable in getting on a sparring partner level. It really helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also adding or kind of combining all these best practices together and share it. Like we were working on a legacy book. So what is already done, what makes us proud, and that we're not only the big cases, but also the little steps in behavior. Like, hey, this person tried that, or this person stepped up to actually talking to customers.
Okay, great. Thank you. Rianne, another question for you, which was upvoted a lot in the chat. These are really challenging times, and especially for the airline industry. And a question that was asked here in the chat, isn't it the moment now to innovate? Isn't it a new start? So the KLM should, the people who are now trained in design, shouldn't they be working on thinking about what should happen in the future after COVID?
Yeah, that's completely true. And in utopia, this would really work. But like I already mentioned, we have to deal with a lot of cutbacks. So teams are really small. So running the business is still our first priority, getting people across the world. So yeah, we really want to start innovate for the longer run. But at the same time, we have to deal with the COVID measures right now. And yeah, we're in this situation of adapting and continuing the high stake work. And slowly right now we're in more a transition to, okay, what can we do to change the future and how can we switch? Yeah, so true.
Adam talked a lot about the 10-year history of jams. Do you remember when or do you know when service design as a term was first used within KLM? Do you have any idea? Is that something from the last few years, or has that been around a seriously long time?
I've really no idea. No, I don't dare to give an answer on this one. I don't dare to. But what we're such a big company, or used to be so big. We're a little bit smaller now, but yeah, we do have, like Anouk mentioned, we do have the service designers and like the front end designers and those kind of people. But like the mindset, I'm not sure how long we're working on that. We at KLMX, we started like 4.5 years ago by like making a team dedicated to do innovations and prototyping in a live operation. So that's that I can answer.
So I don't know if Mark is still on this chat, but maybe Mark can also chip in, because I know that he did some projects for KLM in the past. Mark, are you there? No, Mark's not here. He's on mute.
Might be doing the dishes or
hoovering and ironing on the motherboard.
Getting his rubber chicken.
And Adam,
he just posted in the chat that I know when it started, and I think he may be referring to a 31 volts project, which is in the Business Service Design Doing book, actually, where KLM built an amazing prototyping space and invited people to come in and prototype stuff. I think it was there where the wonderful forest is now.
Yeah, that's KLMX. Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Anouk, maybe a question for you, also from the Q&A. How do you measure success of a learning program? How do you put the right metrics on there?
Yeah, that's a really good question as well. So as I briefly shared, we started on a framework where we are measuring kind of the long-term organizational impact as well as the short-term training impact. And that is where we link back KPIs, organizational impact, to skills and related behaviors. So maybe it helps to give an example. So if we talk about, for instance, increasing product adoption rate, we can talk about several skills that add up to that. Like reframing the problem, validating solutions, gaining user insights. So we mapped kind of, hey, what would we like to see in the training as skill-related behaviors? So for instance, for reframing the problem, yeah, actually, we wanted to have discussions about a challenge and a problem, and not just accepting the challenge. Okay, this is a challenge I'm going to run. No, okay, what is the challenge? Why is it a challenge? For who? Understanding the problem, and also being able to redefine the problem to an actionable challenge. So that was on, for instance, on in the training. And then we defined short terms, early symptoms of this skill, like people do not automatically accept a problem, but try to define the question behind the question, and really use their interview skills and gaining user insights to gain insights from the sponsor they're getting this challenge from. And another early symptom of the skill can be, for instance, switching between a business lens, an organizational lens, and a user lens on a problem. So you have all the different perspectives, uncovering the different angles of a problem or challenge. And then we talk about the skill-related impact, like, hey, okay, teams see problems in new ways, resulting in solving more promising problems. And the projects are focused on root causes of a problem and not just symptoms, because that also happens in every organization. And redefining a problem to an actionable challenge so that you can set up a team for success. That also was a skill-related impact, which builds up to increasing product adoption rate. And within this, we try to define also the training success. So we, after every training, we ask for feedback, and we did a kind of survey to see where we are standing, what we can improve. We collected feedback, and we are not far enough in the project yet to really measure the impact of on the organizational level. Mm-hmm. We are able to see also the symptoms of this mind shift, like Rianne was mentioning. Like the request for design is coming from all different levels and all different teams and all different people, because they see the value that the process can bring.
Yes,
great. Right. Thanks a lot. We're going to round off this Q&A. I think we could have gone on for ages, especially looking at all the questions in Brella. So maybe I'd like to invite the speakers to have a peek there, and you can give some answers in the chat. I think that would be much appreciated by the audience. Another big round of good vibes and applause towards our speakers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and please don't jump out of the call and take a break, because we have some break together with all of you, and we will have a yoga break. So in a moment, Polly will join us, and she will guide you through a virtual yoga session. Cool. But maybe before we go into that, I would like to mention that if people have some technical problems, you can also go to the SDN Slack, and there is a specific channel to ask those questions, and then they will immediately be answered. So feel free to go there if you have some problems.
Yeah. I also want to remind you about the other break options. If you don't want to do yoga, you can still go to the e-booths on Brella. You can get in touch with different people there. You can have your one-on-one interactions with people in Brella. So definitely explore all these options. For us, it's the end of being your hosts today. We're going to be visitors and attendees from now on. So we're looking forward to that. But it was really great to be able to be here to ask questions to the speakers. And I want to thank you very much for being here with us.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. And if you have any more questions for us, please go to Brella and connect, and we will be around to answer some of your questions.
Yeah. And if you are nostalgic about real life service design conferences, you can always listen to our podcast that we recorded at the conferences to relive that live feeling.
Yes.